Now, it's time for a trip inside our brains to show you what opioids do to our brains and how we become addicted. And we introduce you to medications that can be life-altering and life-saving. But first, some families willing to share their stories of what happened when opioid addiction entered their lives.
Purple was his favorite color. I have my favorite Mother's Day card. I love you very much. I honestly didn't know what an opiate was. Christopher in 8th grade was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. 15 to 18 times a day you're having diarrhea and horrible stomach cramps, and for a boy in 8th grade it was horrible.
By the time Cammie Wolf Rice's son was a senior in high school, he had surgery to remove his large intestine.
He had so many complications. He was in the hospital for 70 days, on morphine for 70 days. So really, at that point, I mean, now that I know all that I know, he was doomed then at that point, before we even got the 90 Oxycontins that we went home with, and then the refill of 90 more. I was timing it. I was like, okay, honey, you just need to stay one more hour, you can have a pill. So yes, I was feeding him those Oxycontin. There was never a conversation ever about anything about addiction.
I've never in my life seen my mom so happy. It's so important to me.
Christopher was out of college and living at home before Cammie would learn her son had never stopped taking opioids.
I was talking to Christopher at the table, and he literally fell asleep at the table in conversation. I can't even tell you how shocked I was.
Inpatient opioid treatment began. Relapses always came. Unable to get prescription opioids, Christopher eventually moved to heroin.
How many times was he in treatment?
5, I believe. 5 different treatments. This is a bracelet that the Cambodian grannies made.
On a trip with his mom to Cambodia to visit the school she and her husband had opened for children there, Christopher overdosed and died in their hotel room while she slept.
There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than a parent losing their child. There's not even a word for it, because there is no way to describe it. And I'll never be okay. I'll never. Every morning I wake up, I think the first thing when I open my eyes is another day without Christopher. Look at this smile on him. He's just beautiful.
In those 5 times in treatment, Cammie's son was never offered medication-assisted treatment.
The first time I heard about it, I was in a meeting with a doctor. I got in my car and bawled like a baby because he didn't have that opportunity.